You're live, and before I even get this started, I gotta put the title really quick. Yeah. There we go. Perfect. Move this to the side just so y'all see what I'm talking about. There we go. All right, chat, and then let me make sure I got this all worked out. Let YouTube do its thing. So basically, I'm gonna let the chat warm up a little bit. I'm gonna let YouTube do its thing. Hold on. So y'all, basically, I've been super busy, but I know today is Tuesday, and I've been trying to stick with the stream. I've been trying to stick with the stream schedule, but I've been super busy lately. But it is Tuesday, and I want to get something like, some content out. We are still doing Music Mondays, so I do want to do some Monday stuff, some Monday reviews, but I'll probably wait until Saturday so I get the submissions, and then Monday we'll kind of keep going from there. But today is Tuesday, and tomorrow we're gonna have the tomorrow's schedule. I think it's just chilling. I think it's chop it up with Don tomorrow. So we're gonna do some topics, and then Thursdays collabs, Fridays IRL streams, Saturday and Sunday we're just gonna do different types of chop it up. So y'all just bear with me. You feel me? Hopefully I can see the chat because I haven't been live in a minute. But yeah, you guys roll one up, get your drinks ready, all that good stuff, you feel me? Because we're gonna get into the conspiracy. And I was gonna wait like maybe like 5-10 minutes to get into one, but I heard this quantum immortality shit is crazy. And they put it in like superhero movies, and basically what that is like you feeling like you died or had a near death experience or something, and you feel like you kind of like switched realities, or like I don't know how to explain it, bro. It's just like one of those things where you go through something, you're like, whoa, I feel like I died, or I had an out of body experience, or some shit like that. So I think that's crazy. I found this YouTube thread of like hella people that go through it, who have gone through that shit, bro. Who have like, bruh, I was driving one day and I swear I crashed, but I never ended up crashing. I just took a right turn, but I swear I went off the road, and it's like I went to a different timeline. Yeah, that'd be crazy. So what I'm gonna do, guys, we're gonna like, subscribe, make sure you guys comment, all that stuff, and we're about to just get into it. All right, we're gonna listen here. Quick explanation for you.
To die. You didn't?
All right, here we go.
So imagine this. What if every time you were supposed to die,
This.
you didn't? What if your consciousness just shifted into another version of reality where you survived? That's the idea behind quantum immortality. The theory suggests that in a universe with infinite possibilities, there's always a version of you that makes it. Every close call, every I should have died moment instead of the end, it's just a jump, a shift into a timeline where you're still here. Now let that sink in, because that means there could be countless versions of your life playing out right now. Different choices, different outcomes, different you. And sometimes people believe they feel it. Those moments where something seems off. Let's watch the stories.
Okay, so I want to talk about quantity. You guys got that, right? You guys got that little intro, right? I'm gonna let it play. I'm not gonna pause it too much. I'm gonna let it play, but y'all get how crazy this is about to be. We're about to get into it. All right. Let's see this first girl's story. She says that she thinks she died in a car accident in 2023. Let's just see. Mortality. Why I think I chat. I don't know what happened, but we're back. Okay, I don't know what happened. I think once we talk about real stuff, it start tweaking a little bit. We're about to get into it. Like I said, she wants to talk about why she thinks she died in the car accident. Let's go. Why I think I died in 2023. A version of me died in 2023 in this car accident that I was in, and how our decisions create timelines. So back in 2023, I was in a car accident. This woman
I was sitting at a red light and this woman crossed over three barriers and hit me directly in my car door. That's not even the craziest thing about it, though. The craziest thing about it was the fact that my boyfriend got into a car accident that same morning, literally less than a few hours before. And I'm convinced that, and I can't say like, oh, I know it wouldn't have happened if I didn't do this or if this didn't happen, because we won't know. There's no way to know. But I'm convinced that because of certain decisions and like odd synchronicities and just weird encounters that took place from the night before his car accident leading up to my car accident, I'm just convinced that like everything
Dude, you know how crazy that is?
would
Her boyfriend got in a car accident in the morning, and then she got into the same exact car accident at night. Like, bro, that's crazy. I don't know. It's just wild.
it happen because at the time I was on the journey of literally being like, I need to become a different person. I want to become a different person.
And
I
then you got
understand
hit. That's wild.
I didn't realize that what I was asking for required an entirely new identity from me. And what a lot of us don't understand is that when you actually decide to become a new person, you do not get to control what your reality chooses to recalibrate and reorganize around your new identity. Because when I was like, I want to become a new bitch, the universe said, oh, bet. All this got to go, though, because that's in alignment with your old identity. And so at the time, I was experiencing
That's
spiritual
fucking
things. I was
crazy.
experiencing getting some of my biggest manifestations, but I was also losing so much of what was attached to my old identity, right?
Bruh,
So
imagine you're being like, all right, I'm gonna change. I want to change. You praying to the higher power. You're doing whatever, whatever, bro. Imagine. And then all of a sudden you just get a near death experience. Your car rolls over 3 times, you fall in the ditch, and you're like, what the fuck? I promise you your whole life will change. Like, I promise you, that's your new, like, bruh. It doesn't even have to be anything that tragic, but like I feel like what she's saying is like, she wanted to become a new person, and she wasn't like, the way this shit happened is not random. You feel me? I don't think anything is random, bro. Like me personally, bro, I've been in a car accident. I got hit by a drunk driver. Literally, I almost died, bro. Like my car smashed, totaled, just bruh. And I walked out that bitch with not a scratch on me. You feel me? So it's like I feel like during that time, I was like doing shit I wasn't supposed to be doing, hanging out with people I wasn't supposed to be doing, and I wanted to change, but I didn't know how. And then boom, as soon as that shit happened, it's like my eyes woke up. Like, bro, it's so crazy. It's so crazy how you like realize that type of shit. You're like, damn, I don't even want to hang out with these people anymore. Damn, I could have died. No one really cared. Or like, bruh, that shit hits different. Or imagine being shot. No, I haven't been shot, but I'm just saying, there's people, you know. All
before
right.
my boyfriend's car accident,
All right, girl. Next story.
this was the catalyst. His charger broke.
That shit's so fucking crazy, yo. Hold on, I want to listen to this other story.
Okay, first of all,
That girl will talk for like 10 minutes. All right, hold on. Here we go. Next story.
in this one. If you stay with me, I love you. Thanks for
I
witnessing.
didn't stay with you.
16 years old, I was in quite literally a fiery bus wreck. I was going through New Mexico in a school bus with a group of like 11 or 12 other girls. We were heading back to Colorado. It's January, so it's snowy, icy, whatever. Basically, the bus just catches the patch of black ice. We spin around on the road and then we roll over into a ditch. The bus, like the way it landed, like stopped rolling was like on its like roof. Diesel fluids like running down like the top of the school
Picture of a
bus.
bus upside down. It's a very small picture. You can't even really see it. I guess it's a school bus upside down. That's caught
Literally
on fire.
burns to the ground. We had gone on a trip. We all had like luggage and everything with us. And the adults that we were with were not very competent. So they stacked all of our luggage in the very back of the bus where the emergency exit is.
Oh my god.
So whenever the bus rolled, we could not get out. Like we were stuck inside.
Bro,
All of the
imagine imagine you're on the bus, bro, and they're like, "All right, campers, put all your stuff in the back and block all the emergency exits." Now they're stuck. Now she's saying she's stuck on the bro. What the fuck? This is crazy. All right.
luggage and everything was blocking the way out of the bus. It felt like we were in that bus for like a long time trying to get out, like a long time trying to get out. Some people saw the bus, like saw the wreck and everything. They pulled over and they were able to like come over and like open the emergency exit from the outside and start throwing luggage out and just like pulling all of us girls out. But it felt like so long. It felt like a long time we were stuck in that bus. Brother David, that's the man that was like the dad of the home, whatever, he was like screaming like that thing's gonna blow, and he was like trying to get all of us like away from the bus. We were all like just disoriented standing in the snowy field. So some don't have shoes, we don't have jackets, like we're literally just in the fucking snow. It's been like 7, 8 years since this happened, and the whole entire story, if you've seen the cult story time, it's incredibly traumatic for me. And so once in a while I like go on Facebook and I look up the group home leaders names and I look up the church we went to, and I just scroll back and back and back and just try to find like posts about, I don't know, it's just validating. I do it a lot. And just like a week or two ago I was going through and I found a post. It said that the bus burnt to the ground within 20 minutes. I swear I was in that bus for 20 minutes. Several cars pulled over, got this door open,
That's fucking wild.
started pulling all of us out. They got all of us out of that bus in 20 minutes. You know what I mean? And we are in the middle of New Mexico, like in the middle of nowhere, okay? And ambulances are able to get to us and like they load us up in ambulances. The thing is, it was nobody was wearing a uniform. They were volunteer
Fuck.
paramedics. So they were in civilian clothes.
What
We
the
got taken to a volunteer hospital. It's not an actual hospital, it's just this really tiny hospital with apparently a bunch of just volunteer employees. And then we get home. We get home in the evening back to the house that we lived at, and my parents are there. After a year, they left me for a year in a different state, and they were there back to pick me up that night. I get all my stuff, I go with my parents, and after a year of being in this hellhole, I finally go home. And when I tell you, from the second, from the second we got into my dad's truck, we never spoke about the girls' home ever again. We never spoke about the girls' home ever again. It is like it didn't exist. It's like it never happened.
bro?
I can't find
That's crazy. Oh no, no, that's crazy. Because how are we never gonna talk about the bus almost like bro, I almost died or I did die. Or like you know how like weird that is? Like I know some people might not think that deep into it, but like you have a kids full of, school bus full of kids, you have the camp leader flips over, the emergency exits are blocked. They're sitting in the but like, yo, that's crazy. And then her parents come back from after a year of not seeing her and they're just like get in the car and they never speak about it again ever. Like what type of shit, guys? I feel like a lot of people go through these things where they die and or have like these experiences and like they don't it does something to your brain. You feel me? We're gonna continue though. I just wanted to yo, that shit's crazy.
on the internet about it. All I can find is like a couple Facebook posts, just like within the church. Seeing that post, that it burned to the ground within 20 minutes, was just such a like, did it? Because it really felt like I was in there for 20 minutes. Apparently, we were only in there for like minutes, and it just doesn't seem. I don't know. It seems weird. I didn't have anything broken. I started going through bodies and make sure everybody's all right.
Wait, here's the church.
Should have been 10 crosses on the side of the road, no doubt.
Back in 2023. Yo, that's crazy. There should have been 10 crosses on the road. No doubt. Like, bruh, really? Just like that? That's crazy. All right, we got another story time. This one says parallel universe simulations and the Mandela effect. We don't get into that. Before I get into that, guys, I need you to like this video. I need you to subscribe to the channel if you like what I'm doing so far. Like I said, we're just chilling. About to let my puppy out really quick, Let him get some fresh air till he's ready to come back. Go on, buddy, do your thing. All right, and we are going to get back into our quantum reality. All right, let's see what this girl's talking about. A car accident, and I crashed into a bear on a back road in Florida. Crashed into a bear? Did she say she crashed into the bear? Hold on, I'm gonna run that back. She did.
and I'm almost 100% certain that I died and experienced quantum immortality. I was in the process of moving from Daytona to Tampa, and I was traveling on a back road. Um, there was literally no other traffic on this road except me. So I was going pretty fast down it, and I never thought to think that there would be black bears in Florida. This was something that I just literally
Oh,
didn't know
black bears in
existed.
Florida is man.
Since there was no with me on back road, I was going probably like 70 miles per hour, like 65, 70. I remember looking at my gauge and it's like right in front of me on my dashboard and it was like 60 something. So like 70, like in that range, that's how fast I was going. Literally 1 second later, a black bear runs directly across my car. And I feel like it was
I
some
think the
key moments that I remember. At first, I had no idea what the fuck I was even looking at. I've never seen a bear before, and this bear was massive. It wasn't like some cutesy little baby. Like that shit was full grown. Might as well have crashed into another car. Um, there was a moment where when I was crashing into it, I literally was like looking directly into its eye, and I felt like at that point, I literally like lost my life. I felt like that was my last like breath.
that's
The
fucking
feeling
crazy.
that I felt the second that I crashed into the bear was like I was being unplugged and ripped from this reality. I literally could not access anything. Everything became so untangible, it wasn't even funny. I'm pretty sure I died on impact, but my soul traveled on to where I'm at now, which is
Bruh.
another like parallel universe, which is exactly the same, but just a little bit different. When I crashed into the bear,
Bro, this shit's crazy.
was out of body. I could literally see what looked like to be just me in the driver's seat, but I'm like, who the fuck is driving this car? Like, I was so surprised that my
Bruh,
airbags didn't come out either. It doesn't make any sense. Like, if you're going about 70 miles per hour and you
that's
crash into anything,
insane.
like, your airbag should come out. There's nothing wrong with my airbags. Like, literally, it doesn't make any sense. It was like every single thing.
Fucking crazy. Alright, chat. I'm gonna let y'all listen to her for a second.
Literally being placed into another. My soul was like looking for another place to go. It felt like I don't even know, like it was like this really crazy jolt. It was just like a jolt of like I don't know, like in that moment I knew. And anybody who's ever had like a near death experience knows exactly what I'm talking about. Like that I knew. Like I was like, I just died. Like that was it. And the first thing that I did was panic. So I'm thinking like I'm not ready to go. Like this was an accident. I don't want to. Like my mom is gonna be so upset. And I was like, oh my God. Like that's all I was thinking was like, no, like I'm just not ready. I'm not ready. And I was still driving my car after this. Like my car was beyond fucked up. Like literally beyond fucked up. It was insane. The music stopped. I hit the bear so hard that my phone immediately got sent into SOS mode and I couldn't open it. I kept putting in my password, but I could not get into my phone. I wanted to call my mom so bad, but it was like I literally was being like torn away from that reality and I just didn't exist in it anymore. Like there was no music on my car, like it just everything stopped. Everything was like a standstill. It stopped. It was literally like that was the split decision. Like if I were to accept what happened, I feel like I would have went somewhere different, but I was so shaken up and I was so worried about like my mom that I immediately consciously knew that I wasn't ready to like let this be the end of my story. I continued to drive because I couldn't get into my phone. So I just continued to just keep driving and hope that like my phone will eventually like let
We
me call
back.
somebody or something. Um Literally I drove probably for about a mile and I just felt so like completely out of body. Like it didn't even seem real at that point. Like it didn't. And as soon as I could make a phone call, like I feel like everything was just slightly different. Like literally, stores that I thought were stores are different stores. Like stores that I've been driving past,
Oh,
like
she was feeling something different for sure.
different. I'm like, there was this tobacco shop that I literally went to all the time, and it had a different name. I'm like, when did y'all change your sign? They were like, what are you talking about? I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, what are you talking about? Like, it's been this way. I'm like, it really hasn't been that way. Like,
That entire experience has like shifted my entire reality. And like for some reason, like I couldn't make peace with it for the longest time. I felt like dude, that would have gave me chills, like straight up chills. Really do get the option to just move on into a parallel universe, which is exactly the same as the last one, or you can, go somewhere different. I don't know, but this story deals with the impossible. I'm not gonna lie. That shit was crazy. So she basically got into this car accident with the bear, looked the bear in the eyes, felt like her soul was leaving. And then, like, as soon as she snapped back or got back to reality, everything was different. Like, when did you change your sign? When did this happen? Like, bro, that's weird. And I feel like people have deja vu or they'll swear they remember something like, swear it was like this. I swear. Like, bro, you're not crazy. That's all I'm saying. Not crazy. We're gonna get into this next story, okay? This girl says that she was 15 and she drowned and she thinks that she changed timelines. Let's hear her out. And she says, I drowned when I was 15 and I still remember every detail 15 years later. Make sure you guys like the video. I can't make sense of what happened to me. She said today she's 37 years old, but this happened when she was 15 in 2003, and she can still remember every detail vividly as if it happened yesterday. I thought she wrote this in a very eloquent way, and so I'm going to read you this story word for word as opposed to putting it in my own words because I want to make sure that I get every detail correct. This is what she said. Every summer, my dad would take my brother Derek and I to our grandparents' house, my dad's parents, to swim in their backyard. They had a pretty big in ground pool that had been around as long as I can remember. Over the years, it became somewhat of a routine. Whenever school let out for summer vacation, Derek and I would spend a few weekends at their house to enjoy the summer and make use of their pool as much as we could. Okay. They had a curling slide that required a ladder, as it was roughly 12 feet tall, and a diving board near the deep end of the pool. Us, it was better than going to a water park because it was private, secluded, and fenced in. Pretty much a dream come. All right, so far, if y'all keeping up, this girl said that she has a pool in her backyard. It's really nice, and they don't like going to the pool, like the public pool, so they had a pool in their backyard. All right. You think it's ChatGPT? It might be ChatGPT reading it, but I don't think it's the story itself. We're gonna let it play. Make sure you guys like the video. Any kid who loved to do a cannonball from a running start. Okay. I should preface this by saying Derek and I were and are still excellent swimmers. It was in that very pool I learned how to swim as a kid and kept improving the more time we spent there. The day in question was just like any other. Derek had just gotten out of the pool to dry off and resume playing Pokemon on his Game Boy. Okay. There were pool chairs and tables lined up on the side, and I distinctly remember Derek sitting on the far corner as I stepped up to the diving board. Before I jumped in, I remember looking at the sky and seeing storm clouds approaching. They were exceptionally dark in some areas, so I figured I'd take one more dive before it started to rain. I jumped in, hit the bottom of the pool, and remembered inhaling from impact, maybe a natural reaction at the time. I'm still not sure why I recall doing that. I wasn't an idiot when it came to swimming and never had any issues diving before. When I opened my eyes, I half expected to find myself coughing up water at the surface, but I didn't. I didn't see anything except darkness. Not just darkness, but pure, unfiltered black in every direction. I distinctly remember thinking, that's weird. Are my eyes still closed? I reached out my hand but couldn't see it. I felt myself moving and even felt myself blinking at one point, but I still couldn't see anything, which in hindsight should have freaked me out. But it didn't. In fact, it was the calmest and most relaxed I'd ever felt in my life. It felt like I was floating, but there was no weight to my body. At least she almost died. I can still feel the sensation of my arms and legs. So basically, the girl jumped in the water while there was a storm, and so far, she opened her eyes and she's seeing darkness. Feel anything beneath me, and I accepted it without any fear or worry. I didn't feel any pain. I didn't feel an ounce of fear. I remember thinking, or maybe even saying out loud, so, this is what death feels like? Feels kind of nice if it is. I can't remember the last time I ever felt so calm. It was half a joke, half acceptance. The sensation of floating without a care in the world lasted for what only felt like a few minutes, long enough to take in every sensation and notice how odd it was that I couldn't see any part of myself, no matter how many times I put my hands out in front of me. That shit's so weird. Suddenly, all the blackness started flickering pink and red in the distance. It was subtle at first, but then that's all I could see, a reddish pink glow. And that's when my eyes actually started to hurt. All I can say about what happened next is that I felt like all the pain and fear I should have been feeling hit me all at once. My throat hurt, my stomach hurt, my head hurt, my eyes hurt, and I could feel my body laying on a rough, hard surface. Damn. I opened my eyes, remembering how odd it was that I suddenly could. When I did, I didn't see black anymore.
I saw bright blue in almost every direction, which I eventually realized was the sky directly above me. There were no clouds, no storm approaching, nothing. It was a normal, regular, sunny summer day, except I wasn't in the pool anymore, and Derek wasn't in the chair with his Game Boy. I coughed up some water, but not nearly as much as I expected. And aside from that, the rest of me was completely dry. I was lying on the side of the pool, maybe an arm's length away. I started wondering how on earth I'd managed to get myself out of the water, not to mention how long I'd been lying there in the sun. Suddenly, I heard the screen door behind me open. It was Derek, looking half concerned and half relieved. From what I recall in the haze of confusion, Derek had gone to find an adult and they eventually came out only to find me very much alive and not in need of medical assistance. Derek asked if I was okay, and I reassured him I was. Physically, I felt fine, as if I'd only swallowed a mouthful of pool water. I'm not going to lie, a small part of me was pissed off for going from such an extreme sense of calm to absolute disorientation and confusion within a matter of minutes. When I asked my brother what happened, he seemed just as confused as I was. In a split second, Derek went from looking as concerned as anyone should be after watching their sibling drown to confused and annoyed that I was even asking questions. Now, if it wasn't weird already, here's where it gets very strange. She says, the fact that there were no clouds in the sky, let alone the dark impending storm clouds I distinctly remember, was already weird enough to make me uneasy. I don't know how else to explain it, but it almost felt like I wasn't supposed to be there. It felt off, but only in subtle ways at first. It was only after I realized the time on the clock was different from the last time I saw it that I started to feel extremely uneasy. I remember taking the final dive in the late afternoon around 4 or 5 p.m. However, now the clock showed just past 11:30 a.m.
That's fucking
It
weird,
felt like I was
bruh.
either going crazy or I'd had one of the most vivid visceral dreams of my entire
That's
life.
fucking
And
weird.
over
How do you dive into the water at 4 p.m. in the afternoon and then you come out at 11 a.m. and your siblings watching you and just as confused as you are? Like, sis, you were just drowning. I just went to go get help. And now you're saying you're all fine and it like, bro, it's weird. It's weird.
first, I tried to ignore it, but there hadn't been a year of my life since that day where I haven't thought about it. It was impossible to explain that phenomenon without sounding insane. That is, until I heard one of your stories about a girl who went on a trip and suddenly remembered everyone around her disappearing. Her account of looking everywhere for her friends, only to find them back at their cabin, acting as if she hadn't been missing for an entire day,
That's
compelled
fuck.
me not only to share this story with you, but also start piecing together some of the missing parts on my own.
Oh my gosh.
At that time, I wasn't ready
Yo,
for diversity.
I'm not gonna lie, that shit's crazy too. You go camping with a group of friends, and let's say you go to the bathroom, and then you find your way back, and you're like, guys, and you're just looking all over the world, like all over the campsite for him, all over the trails. Where are you guys at? And then it's been 24 hours. You go back around, and there they are. Hey, where you been? We were here the whole time. We were here the whole time. Where you been? We were waiting on you. Like, you know how crazy that is? You guys know how wild that is? And it probably happens to people all the time. Like, bro, you guys were not here. I just circled around this whole campsite 6 times. You guys were not here. Like, this shit's crazy. I definitely believe it. All right, we gonna get into the next story though. I definitely believe shit like that could happen. Let's see. This girl says, oh, and so far, if you guys are liking the video, if you guys are vibing with me, make sure you guys double tap and subscribe. We just chilling, talking about theories. I do this every Tuesday. We do different conspiracies every single Tuesday. So we got one right here. Let's see what her next story is. Creepy story time escaping death. All right, girl, let's go.
It's a theory that if you're about to be unalived and you don't think it's your time yet, you are able to quantum jump into another reality or timeline and continue living your life. So listen to this story. So this man was working at his local gas station and he said he was the only one at the store at the time. He looks up out the window and he sees somebody pull up to one of the gas pumps. He said he's not the best at identifying cars, but it looked like a middle to upper class, fairly new white four-door car. He says a woman gets out of the car and she starts walking towards the store door and it looked like she was out of it, like in some kind of a daze. She
Okay.
approaches the
Okay.
door and she just kind of stares at nothing, zoning out for a few seconds before she opened the door and came inside.
Oh, that's weird. That's weird. So far, this guy's at the 7-Eleven by himself at nighttime. This white car pulls up. Lady gets out all weird, probably drunk looking, stumbling. And she gets to the door where you open it to the gas station, and she just stares. Just stares inside for a second. You know how creeped out I'd be as a gas station employee? You know how, like,
I'd lock the door. I'd be like, "You're not coming in. You're not coming in, bro. No." All right, but I guess she came inside after she stopped and stared for a second. Shoot, the fuck?
Walks in and she just stands there. She doesn't start
Oh
shopping.
my
She
god.
doesn't start looking at anything,
Oh
just still completely zoned out. So after standing there for way too long, he finally says, "Welcome. Let me know if there's anything I can help you with." So this makes her snap out of it and she notices him. And then she proceeds to ask him the weirdest question he has ever been asked while working. She just deadpan stares at him and asks, "You can see me, right?" So he's like, "Yeah, because
what?
what else do you say?" And she just breaks down bawling in the middle of the store. So he rushes around to go and help her. He has his cell phone out in case he needs to call the police for her. And he helps her sit down on a nearby pallet of soda and he gets a bottle of water to try to calm her down and talk to her. He just looks up at him and says, "I thought I died." So he's trying to assess the situation. He's thinking, okay, she doesn't look like she's
Mind you, he's the only one in the gas station.
intoxicated or on anything. She looks like your standard suburban housewife. So then she says she's going to call her husband and ask him to come and pick her up. She pulls out her own cell phone and calls him. He said she didn't really tell her husband what happened either, just that she needed him to get an Uber to get to her so that he could drive her car home. So her husband
Okay.
says that he'll be there as soon as possible and hangs up. And then she starts to tell him what happened to her. She said she was out to dinner with friends, and as she was driving home by herself, going through the main intersection, a big truck ran a red light and smashed right into her. He says to remind everybody that her car is still sitting out there without a scratch on it. She says that she remembers the truck shoving her car into a pole. Her car flipped up, went airborne, and then everything went black. She's still crying right now. And he went and reminded her that her car is right out there and it is fine. And
That's
she
crazy.
can't calm down. She is insisting that she remembers the crash, blacking out. She even remembers waking up for a split second and being in an ambulance and then blacking back out again. And then get this, after she blacks out from being in the ambulance, she wakes up again and she is in her vehicle, sitting at the intersection, waiting for the light to change. And she's totally fine. No
Bro, if that's not the craziest loop ever, that shit is wild.
accident. She is utterly freaked out, and she said that she drove to the nearest thing she could find, which just so happened to be that gas station. She just wanted to get out of the car and make sure that she was indeed alive. So eventually, her husband does come and pick her up, and before they leave, he did ask the gas station attendant, "What happened?" He said that despite the fact that she told him the whole story, he just said, "I don't know," because he really has no idea what is going on anymore at this point. She reluctantly got back into the car in the passenger seat, and her husband drove off with her. I flipped my car upside down and jumped
The
timelines.
fuck, bro? That story right there, before we get into this redhead girl, that story right there is probably one of the creepiest. Like, how do you're going at the green light, a truck smashes into you, a semi truck, your car goes airborne, you black out, you think you're in the ambulance, you think you're there, like, bro, that shit's so crazy. And then she ends up in the same loop again, like at the same light again. She's like, nah, this time I'm just drive to the gas station. I'm gonna just drive here. I need to be out the car because I've seen what happened already before it happened. It's like predicting the future almost. Like she almost like seen it. She experienced it. Basically, she's like, no, I just died. And I feel like I'm gonna die again. Like, bro, it's almost like a deja vu type of thing too. That shit's crazy. All right, before we get into the next story, you guys make sure you like, subscribe, comment, all that shit. You guys make sure you guys tap in with me. All right, here we go.
That's what I think happened. Regardless, some very paranormal things occurred. I was 18 and I lived in rural Illinois. My daily commute to work was 30 minutes on a long stretch of highway. So that morning, I was driving to work. There's no other cars around me. And I look at the time, it says 7 o'clock. I'm like, I'm supposed to be walking into my job right now, and I'm still 15 minutes away. So I remember I turned down the music and I stepped on the gas a little bit. I didn't think I was flooring it, but all of a sudden, I'm veering to the left. Later, when we went back to the scene, it looked like I was sliding on loose gravel that was in the road. So now everything is going in slow motion, right? I'm looking at where I'm going to be heading, and
I'm about to cross through the left lane, and all that's there is a big field with like a 10-20 foot drop. I don't even know. So I can see my future. I'm like, I'm gonna go flying and land in this field. Like, I'm done. So I overcompensate the wheel and I just go all the way to the right. So now my car has completely like to the right. And again, slow motion. All I see in front of me is tree trunks, just a dense wall of tree trunks that is very close to the side of the road, and I'm going fast. So when I see that, I accepted that it was over.
You're
Like
gonna
I
hit
don't
the
even try to
tree.
explain it. It was like an automatic thing. I was like, I'm done.
When you're about to crash, you can see it too. Like you can kind of see when you're about to crash, like, oh shit, I almost hit that. You know when you're almost about to crash, like, oh shoot, you swerve a little bit. No, she's seen the whole thing play out.
Then all of a sudden, my right wheel starts to come up, and that's where I black out. By the way, I don't understand how physically I'm going to the right, but then I roll this way. So I black out, which is crazy because that does not happen to me. I lost consciousness. I don't remember hitting my head or anything like that. But next thing I know, my car is upside down and I'm laying on the ceiling of the car, like literally in like fetal position, like this, like I was placed there by like an angel or something. By the way, in my car, I had a board game. I was like in my back seat. When I woke up and I was like this, my head was in the lid of the board game. And there was everywhere, matted into the side of my head, like my hair. So I wake up, I feel normal, like I don't have pain, but I'm like panicking. I didn't know if my car would like blow up. It was still on, and
Dude, she should have said the name of the board game.
like so scared. But when your car's upside down, you can't exactly open the door to get out. I called 911. The operator was like very rude, but thank God, like pretty soon after I woke up, I hear a man's voice being like, "Hey, are you okay? Like, is there anyone in there?" And I was like, "Yes." And I put my hand on the window, and this sweet old man named Cliff helped me like open the door. He had to dig a hole, and he helped me out of the car. And some other men stopped by too, and were like helping me. The ambulance took forever to get there because I was between two counties, so they couldn't decide who to send. So finally, an ambulance comes. They check me out. They put a neck brace on me. And then this is weird. They were like, I don't know if you want us to take you to the hospital because it'll cost a lot of money. I was like, oh, it's going to cost like my parents money. Like, I don't know if I should do that then. So I went to the hospital with this old man, Cliff, who happened to be a good guy, but like, why would they suggest I go with a stranger? Crazy work. This guy, Cliff, was like a saint. And it was so crazy that he happened to be driving past that day. He said that he was on his way to another town to build a ramp for
What's
a
up,
guy who
Pearl?
had just been put into a wheelchair. And when he took me into the hospital, he wheeled me in a wheelchair. And at first, the nurses just saw him and they didn't see me. And they were like, "Hey, Cliff." And all the nurses knew him because he painted the hospital walls for free. Like, he's just like a beautiful person. So, anyway, I get checked out. Everything is normal. All of that, like, literally half my face and my hair, like, I barely had any injuries. And it didn't, like, even make any sense that there was that much. All I had was a little gash right here. My eyelid, I still have a scar.
That's so crazy.
And I have like a little tiny scar right here. I had no bruises. Afterwards, I did have a lot of pain, like in my muscles. Like it just felt like my muscles were so sore, like whiplash type of thing. But like no bruising. I don't know how I lost consciousness. And I don't know how I got cut because there was no glass in my car. Like the windshield obviously shattered, but it doesn't go inside. It just like cracks and crumbles within itself. Glass might have been outside the car, but there was zero glass in the car. I have no idea how I got any cuts and no bruises and lost consciousness. And after that event occurred, for weeks, I had this weird feeling that I was supposed to be like doing mundane things like watching TV with my mom. Like I was like, how am I here doing this? I can't explain it, but it was such a intense feeling like I'm not supposed to be here. So when I later learned about that theory that when you pass away, you go to another dimension where you didn't pass away, I was like, that's what happened to me. And just to make things weirder, the night before, my dad had sent to me a watch that belonged to my great grandma, and I was wearing it when that happened. And after I got in the accident, it no longer worked, but it was not broken like physically. It just would no longer like tick.
That is fucking crazy work. Oh my gosh. Like, I'm lost for words. So not only did she meet the guy named Cliff, who was an angel, she was in a car accident and then ended up on like a board, head in the board game. That shit's crazy. What's up, Blissy? You haven't heard of the theory? Oh my gosh, it is crazy. This is a crazy theory. A lot of people are experiencing near-death experiences and they like parallel jump, all that type of shit. You know a little bit. I know you know a little bit. But I mean this shit is it's pretty crazy. Thank you. And he said, "Dang, I need to look back." Just yeah, just run it back. I got some crazy stories. We're on story, I think, number 5 right now. We're gonna get into this one, but that last one was kind of crazy. All right, guys, let's see what she's talking about. She says, "One death and two experiences." Let's go.
One person have a near death experience, and two people experience it in two different ways. Let's set the scene. It was my third pregnancy. I had already had two C-sections. This pregnancy, I want to try to have a vaginal, which is called a VBAC. They're very risky because you had already been cut open twice. They run the risk of you rupturing and you and the baby losing too much blood and dying. If you do rupture, there's a 16-minute window before there is mortality. Now, when I'm laboring, I'm feeling something is off. I tell the doctor, I know things look like they're going great, but I have a feeling something is wrong. They're like, no,
Really quick, you always go with that feeling. If you're in the hospital and the doctor's like, "No, everything looks good," but you have a feeling in your heart, like, "Nah, something's wrong," go with your fucking feeling. All right, running back. My bad.
I tell the doctor, I know things look like they're going great, but I have a feeling something. They're like, no, everything's great. We're looking at your monitors, da 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 da. I'm like, no, I just feel like something is really wrong. I think you guys should take me to the OR now. They're like, no, we would know if something was wrong, whatever. Thank goodness they switched shifts and another doctor came on. It was a black lady with locks. Thank goodness for her because she came in and she said, they keep saying that you want to go to the OR. Why is that? I said, because I have a feeling that something is really wrong and I need to go now. We go down there and guess what? I am ruptured. She says that within like me being on a table for 20 seconds.
Well,
Now, when you have a C section, they give you oxygen. Why you would think I'm awake, I should be able to breathe. No, you need the oxygen. I was not getting enough oxygen, and I slowly felt myself slipping away. Now, let me tell you, do not ever have a fear of death because I used to be so afraid of death prior to this, but because I started dying and I saw what it felt like, it is almost feels so amazing and peaceful that it's hard to resist. But I knew that I needed to be here. For like I had to talk myself back up to get the strength and energy to tap my husband and let him know that something is wrong. I was just like that was the last breath I had in me to be able to get it out. And he's like, she needs oxygen. And they're like, she needs oxygen. Oh my gosh, her numbers are so low. Da, 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 da. But I was like sinking into the death. This video is not sponsored by the Grim Reaper, and I do not recommend anyone try to go for it before it's your time. Now, here's where the story gets juicy. So I bring up almost dying in labor, like during the birth of my son. My mom's like, yeah, I was so scared because when your husband came out the room and he was crying and he was telling us that you were dying and they were in there giving you a blood transfusion right then. That was the scariest day of my life. And I said, I didn't have to have a blood transfusion. And she's like, yes, you did. And I remember distinctly, it was me, and she's naming the people who were in the waiting room, which were the people that were in the waiting room. And she's like, and he came out, and I had to hold him because he was so scared. And I'm like he was there with me the whole time. He never left. So
oh, that's
now we
creepy.
have to call him and find out. And I'm like, hey, did I have to have a blood transfusion? He's like, no, you didn't have to have a blood transfusion. I was like, well, my mom said that you came out and told her that I was in there getting a blood transfusion. He's like, I never left your side, which I know he never left my side. And yes,
Bro, that shit is wicked. Creepy shit happens in hospitals.
almost died, but we didn't tell my mom that because I would never tell my mom that. She is like already paranoid and scared of something happening to one of her kids, anyways. So now the question is, all of you people who have all the answers, because it's a ton of you all, how is it that in my near death experience, there were like two different experiences from different people when in reality I did like come this close to death? So then I even
That's
looked up the
insane.
paperwork from the hospital where it said that not only did I have a rupture, the rupture extended over to a major artery to which I lost a substantial amount of blood. But then also on there, it has a part where it says needed a blood transfusion. No. So, riddle me this. So I think I died in 2022.
That shit's crazy. And I always think hospitals are wild because it's like you could feel different types of energy from different doctors, different nurses. Like, I don't know. It's just so much that goes into like being at a hospital, bruh. Not only do they be haunted, but just different spirits and shit, bruh. All right, we're gonna get into the next story. Let's go. You guys make sure to double tap, like, and subscribe.
Probably wasn't my first death. Let me explain. So in 2022, my daughter was going to this special magnet school, which required me to take her to school. I had to drive her and pick her up. So every day, every morning, same routine, and in the afternoon. So at 3 o'clock is when I would leave to make sure I had to go pick her up on time. So around about 2 p.m. on this particular day, I started to get real sleepy. And I was like, man, I didn't want to go to sleep because I knew I had to pick her up at 3 o'clock. So, but for some reason, it's like I was forced into a sleep. Like I could not contain myself. I had to go to sleep. Like it was forcing me. So before I knew it, I was asleep. Well, time went by, and all of a sudden, I awakened maybe like 30 to 40 minutes later. But the crazy thing is when I awakened, I had no clue who I was. I was not the same person. I didn't know
What? You wake up and you just don't know who you are?
where I was at. My place did not look the same. I just didn't understand. I get up and I'm walking around, and I'm like, "There's something I need to do. What am I supposed to be doing?" So, like I said, slowly, it was the strangest situation. Slowly, my memory's coming back to me. And I'm like, okay, I need to get in the car. But the crazy thing is, I didn't know where I was going. So I get the keys and I get in the car. Now, I'm driving around, but I don't know where I'm going, but I know I need to do something. I'm slowly gaining memory back, but I don't still don't know where I'm going. So I'm driving around, driving around, driving around. And I'm like, I know I'm supposed to do something. I'm supposed to pick somebody up, but I don't know where. So after about an hour of driving around, finally, I like, okay, I need to go to the school. So I get to the school and I'm already over an hour late. Now, granted, I pick her up on time every single day. I'm over an hour late. So now I get there, and when she gets in the car, she's like, Mom, what happened? So I'm telling her about this crazy thing that just happened to me. The strangest part about that is, ever since this happened, everything between me and my children have changed because they're telling me about memories and telling me about stuff, and I'm telling them, I never said that. We never had that conversation. And they're like,
Bro, that shit is wild because kids remember everything. So the fact that they're like, Mom, you did say that. Mom, you did. She's like, No, I didn't. No, bro, that shit would trip me the fuck out.
telling them stuff, and they're saying, "What are you talking about? That never happened." And it's so strange. So I don't know if like I switched timelines or something, but something strange happened on that day. But it brought me back to the memory of my continuous death, in which I'll get to in another video. Okay, this
Yeah, no, that story was wild, guys. Y'all want another one? Story time. My husband and I went through a portal on a trail. All right, this is gonna be the last story, okay, guys? The last one. So y'all make sure to tap in, like. Here we go.
Story. Um, I want to share with you guys because of everything that's floating around on TikTok about people jumping timelines, going through portals, and they're really confused. They don't understand what's happening because this actually happened to my husband and I when I was pregnant. We were living in Missouri, and there was this place called the Natural Bridge. It was a small hike on a nature reserve, so it was kind of out there. There were no homes or anything around it, just kind of in the middle of the boonies. This was our first time going and the last because of what happened. We were so freaked out. But the way it was set up was you drive back on this little street and there's one trail. So it goes straight up, and pretty soon after you park, you could take a right. And apparently that is the way to the natural bridge. But it was like maybe less than a quarter of a mile from where we parked to take a right. Like you could still see the cars. And so we are walking up straight. We passed that turn off because we don't know. We've never been there. We're like, maybe it will be a little bit further back. So we're just walking up this one trail. There's no other turnoffs. It's just a little trail going up a hill. But, we're like, kind of like, I'm getting tired. Like, I was pregnant. I was like, let's just turn around and go to that little trail on the bottom because that's where we just saw a group of people turn. So maybe they knew how to get to the natural bridge. So we turn around up here. Mind you, we had only just walked straight up, and we thought we were just going to walk straight down because there was no other trail up there or turn off.
Okay.
And we turn around, but like things are just different. And what I mean by that is like when we were walking up the trail, there was really only one little landmark, I guess you could say. And it was like someone had made a fire pit with stones around it, and there was a little log seat. And I was
Okay.
like, oh, that's cute. And I just noticed it because that was the only thing really that was there that was besides trees. So I was like, okay, cool. Like saw that landmark. And we had just walked up past it, did not go very far. turn around and walk down. Now it's still a fire pit with stones, but there's no log there, like to sit on, like a chair. And then this is where it gets weird. Is there suddenly a turnoff to the left?
Oh,
So
that's crazy.
maybe we already walked down further, or maybe we could get to the natural bridge from that way. So that turnoff we did not see at all. And it was like clear, like a cleared path. Like you would have not missed it. Um, so we take that path. And when I tell you, we got so lost. We had our dogs with us too. And we were like, at this point, just telling the dogs to guide us because we
And
didn't
so
know
usually dogs know the way back.
how to get back. We couldn't get back to where we were because we didn't know where we were at. We found the creek to follow because we knew like we parked next to a creek. So we're walking down the creek and we're on a whole different ridge line. And
Ah,
we started here and we're like somehow like on the other side of the bridge, like the natural bridge. And it just made no sense. And so when we started driving home, like over the next few weeks, we really did start seeing things that were just different in our hometown, like hotels that were not there before,
well, that's
that were like
crazy.
well established, stores that were not there before.
Guys, that's
It was
wild.
creepy. It's creepy, but we always were like, we're glad we got out of that timeline.
You know, it's so crazy because there's so many people that go through different timelines and shift and like feel those type of things. It's wild how many stories there are. We could sit here for hours and go over stories and stories. But that shit is crazy. And that wasn't necessarily a near-death experience, but that was like I went somewhere, I know this is where I went and I'm coming right back. But now it's all different. And when I got home to my hometown, it's all different. Like, what the fuck happened in the woods? Or what the fuck? You feel me? Like, it's just crazy because people don't think about that shit, but it happens all the time. So, if y'all like this video, if y'all like the conspiracy with me, y'all make sure to tap in. You know, I'll do some of this more on Tuesday. Like I said, every Tuesday, we're doing a whole different conspiracy. The last Tuesday, I did the dolphin conspiracy. One before that, I did a left eye conspiracy. So just tap in, go to my live, look at my channel, all that. Tomorrow, I will be live again. We will be chopping it up with Don, so we're just gonna be chilling, listening to music, all that type of stuff. But yeah, guys, if you like this and you guys want to get into the nerdy shit and learn stuff with me, just make sure to like and subscribe. You guys stay blessed today. I hope you guys have a wonderful Tuesday. Peace out.